if nothing changes, nothing changes. Unfortunately, we as fitness professionals don't use all the slogans we use with customers back on ourselves. We don't get on our scales and check in. We just keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. It's quite ironic. I continually always put it back to the fitness owners and say, hey, if this was a client, you'd be speaking the same way as what I'm talking to you now, isn't it?
All right, welcome back to the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. In today's episode, I've got a special guest back by popular demand. You may have heard a previous episode a couple weeks ago, Amanda Bracks, and we talked all things marketing, sales, retention, growth, and I wanted to bring it back because I felt like we just started the conversation. Welcome back to the call, Amanda.
Yeah, we just did.
And it was a good call. I got a lot of feedback from the podcast, and you just sort of said, "Oh, I felt like I was a bit more fired up than the actual podcast came out." And it's interesting because you're a person that's been in the game for a while, so is myself, and I thought, it'd be good to do a couple episodes with you, really kind of going a little bit deeper in in a few different topics around fitness and marketing. You're presenting at our Immersive coming up, and I just wanted the audience to get to know you a little bit more. Where you're coming in from anyway, Amanda? You're in between appointments, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I pulled over. You wouldn't believe it, but I've pulled over at Avalon Beach because I can just pull in here and then I've got to go jump on a coaching session after this. So, it's been a bit of a transition day today. It's a busy day.
Well, I wanted to talk about the subject of longevity in the industry. I did speak about this a few podcasts ago, and I thought you're a great person to have a conversation on this. Nothing scripted here, team, but I'm curious. What I've been talking about a lot when I harp on things there's a few things I had to harp on. One of the things I do harp on heavily about is money, how much you're charging. And longevity. And I think the two go hand in hand together. And I'll tell you what my thoughts are on the subject is that, as you know, this industry is pretty passionate. Fitness, wellness, helping people out. Some people call it, hearts and entrepreneurs. There's other sayings out there like, we're just going to help people and we just want to help people out. And over the years, I've spoken to a whole bunch of different people, new trainers, experienced people. But there's one thing, the common thread when you're talking to somebody who's been in the industry long term, what's happened is a few things. One, they've found their niche and they're doing actively fitness and health. They're running their businesses still, and they were able to run it in a way where they're drawing out a wage, they're drawing out an income. They've got a team, they've sorted themselves out. And the other spectrum that I hear is that someone's solo and they're doing it for so long, they're just getting by, but they're saying it's okay because we're helping people out. And I just think I wanted to get your opinion on the matter, because there's a lot, the industry's been split, through COVID. I think the operators that weren't really really into it or didn't have their business sorted, unfortunately, they may no longer be here, or they've taken a different position up somewhere else, working with their greatness. And then there's some people that are just are in a stage right now where they've got to say, hey, this has to work for me. And, we're getting so many good operators actually coming to us, Amanda, at the moment, our Ninja program, where they're great operators, but they're realizing, hey, I want to be around for the next 5 years. What am I missing out on? And that has changed quite a lot. We're not getting people that are coming and saying, oh my gosh, I need 100 leads, but I need them yesterday. Otherwise, I'm going to close my doors. And it's, in a way, it's good people are coming in and going, yes, I'm going to be in this industry long term, but I know that I need to improve A, B, and C's. That's what I'm seeing. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Someone who has been in the industry long term, still working in it, still in the business, consulting, you're doing a mixture of things. Is that what it takes? Do you have to do a mixture of things?
I think that you're right. There's a lot of people in different transitions at the moment, but there's one thing that's guaranteed, and that none of us have been in this predicament before. None of us. Mm-hmm. So in the 30 years that I've worked in this fitness industry, never ever have we've always been able to pattern trends. We always knew what December would look like. We always knew what, a May would look like, but none of us know, like just in my own studio, we had a cranking month last month in sales, and now it's dead quiet. And I have to then figure out, right, we've got a campaign, but now I need to navigate through this campaign this month. Last month, they were running in with their credit cards. This month, it's quiet. Like, it's just an unpatterned trend. So we can all guarantee that we all have to stay on our toes the whole time. We all have to keep our eyes wide open and be willing to make changes quickly in terms of marketing, in terms of lead generation. I've just reviewed my social media campaigns immediately. It's what's the 10th of the month or 11th of the month, and straight away I quickly looked at that and went, what's happening there straight away,
So what you're saying, to stay longevity, you've got to be on your toes much more than you were before.
Totally. Before it was about planning and being strategic. Now it's about being adaptive to change really quickly.
And what about if you're not adaptive to change? What are you seeing? Like, if you're not adaptive to change, it's
heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking seeing people so far behind. They're still on the same, still on the same memberships they were when we were in lockdown. It's very difficult. I've just seen the lack of growth. It's the owners that are being progressive, that are trying, it could be an old campaign that they're running, but they're doing something. And if something doesn't work, you change, like the 10th of the month, something's not working for me, I need to change it this month. But that normally wouldn't happen. The cancellations are now pumping through again. I'm seeing, like, again, we've got issues in a country with this interest rate rise, the threat of electricity rising. Like, even last night, I got a text message come through, and it was a survey for the New South Wales government. And it was like, is increasing electricity a concern for you? So they're already plugging that through people's minds. Whether you were concerned or weren't, they're actually pre-framing you that you should be concerned. So it's really interesting times. And I think we get a bit worried about it. Like, whilst there's people that are going to be really sensitive to price increases, there's a ton of them that aren't. So we just need to adapt then to who's your market.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm hearing a lot in marketing, like a lot of marketers will now market, are you recession proof and things like that. They're great hooks at the moment, very short term, but it's that fear of getting the fear in now, teaching people that it's interesting. It's almost like it's just a progression from COVID. It's like, okay, another thing. And what do you, so you're saying that what you're seeing, and I'm seeing the same thing too, for those business owners that are at the forefront, that are getting help, that are progressing, they're doing okay, and they're getting through, and they're scaling and growing at this point. Last podcast we talked about, and you just said it then, 10th of the month, 11th of the month, you're reviewing your campaigns. Just take me through when somebody thinks they're too busy to review their campaigns because they're running a business. I'm busy being busy. I'm doing my sessions. We get that a lot. There's just so many, only 24 hours in a day. You're running a successful Pilates and yoga business. You're out doing consulting. You're doing a lot of different things, but I've heard it a few times off you, 10th, 11th, this side of the month, you're into marketing. How long does it take you to put your head into that game and then action? Like, what time frame should we have for you?
Every day. Like, it's not hard. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is just see what results we got yesterday, and then just every day make judgment. And then by the first third of the month, you think, well, if this is where we're at now, then times it by 3. That's what we want? Like, clearly it's not. So last month it was so easy. Like, it was like we knew we were set up for a massive month. And then this month it's like, oh, we're way behind, and we're getting cancellations, and we're going backwards a little bit. So already straight away so every morning, just like brushing your teeth, for 5 minutes, I just check in. It's 5 minutes, just check in with the figures. And then I watch it. And if it doesn't improve, then by the 10th of the month, I've already got myself that we're going to do a text message campaign out to ex prospects, like January, February. I'm going to do that next week, March, April, the week after, and June, July, the week after that. And then just see if that text message doesn't work in that first week, I'm going to change that too. So then I just don't bomb everybody in the same text message campaign. And I'm not after a huge amount of sales. I just want to top up the cancellations that we've lost. And then we'll just see what happens with the rest of the month. And, you know, don't have to just go off and go crazy. Also, I'm going to change straight away my social media campaign. I've looked at that, and apparently our graphics aren't picking up. So I need to change the graphics now. So they're not getting as much look in as what they did before. We've run the same graphics and video for a while, and it's getting tired. So I just need to refresh that straight away, and that'll be happened within 24 hours. And then we can just have the rest of the month to be able to make progress. You know, it's really important. And then, you know, a Friday afternoon, you can get a glass of red wine. You've finished the classes for the week, and you can just open this stuff up. The biggest problem with people not taking a look isn't time, it's reluctance, because it's fear. So it's not time, it's fear. They don't want to know, they don't want to see. It's like the weight loss person. They don't want to get on the scales. People, we've got to get on the scales. You've got to do it daily, check in, see where you are, monitor, be patient, and then take, you know, change, you know, every third through the month. You know, it's just worth it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Fear, they don't want to see what's actually in front of them. What is happening. That's a super important point. 5 minutes a day. We're seeing a lot in Facebook ads at the moment that what's happening for people who are, not, for it's not working. Yeah. Changing the copy and changing the creative, is definitely something that is working. And we always say to our clients, like I've got a good friend that, would spend roughly around $10,000 to $15,000 per day into Facebook. All right. That's some ridiculous figure a year, maybe 3 or 4 mil. And, you know, you can see trends really, really fast when more money you spend. And so the trend there is majority of the changes that are going to happen on Facebook. Like, so if your campaigns aren't working, the biggest thing that you can adjust is the creatives. That's the thing. Facebook now serves it to the right audience. They do all the heavy lifting. So I like the concept of you getting a red wine out on a Friday and thinking, well, what can I do? Because generally in marketing, we actually have to have a little bit of creativeness to us to be a little bit clever to get something working that's a little bit dead. And a lot of the time from my side, we don't, you know, trainers, fitness pros, business owners in general, we don't want to do that because there's a bit of work that has to require. We've got to get a designer on. We've got to write copy. We've got to do creatives. Just leave it for next month. You know, things will change. But what you're saying, what I'm saying is like, well, it's not changing unless you change. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And I'd had a different offer last month, and we went back to our original offer, and I said, is it the offer? And she said, no, I think it by the look of the graphics, like that's the thing with social media, you can see what's not working. It's not the offer. It's actually the graphics aren't picking up. So, you know, that's the bonus of having experts, you know, with you as part of your marketing team. And again, it doesn't have to cost a lot. You just need to know, you just need to ask the question. I said, is it the offer or the campaign or the creative? It's only one or the other, really, isn't it? Yep. It's the offer, the copy, or the create, or the image. So let's change one. You know, you wouldn't keep going with the same group fitness class if 2 or 3 people continually were turning up in that class. You'd change the type of class, or you'd change the instructor. So it's no different than my group fitness background as a group fitness manager and managing class numbers. And you wait 2 or 3 weeks, you know that 2 or 3 weeks that class isn't picking up, then change it. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Unfortunately, we as fitness professionals don't use all the slogans we use with customers back on ourselves. You know, we don't get on our scales and check in. We just keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. It's quite ironic. I continually always put it back to the fitness owners and say, hey, if this was a client, you'd be speaking the same way as what I'm talking to you now, isn't it?
Yeah, great insights. And it makes things really clear. I mean, I think we all understand to get results, we check in, we write the reps down, we write the sets down. Is it 12 or 15? Like, we're really specific when it comes to these things, aren't we? We're super specific. Oh no, It's 13. No, it was 12.5, not 12. Like we are like the best people to track numbers in marketing. If we could just understand that it's kind of the same, it's just,
it's exactly the same.
My mum always used to say to me, Richard, if you just put a dollar symbol in front of maths, you'll get the math equation when I was a kid. And it's true. You just got to think about it a different way. And for anybody who's like, saying in their mind saying, well, no, this is the way it is. I don't want to earn too much because I'm not helping people. I'm ripping someone off. I think it's rubbish, because to help more people, to serve more people, to get more people healthier and fitter in shape, you have to make an impact. And to make an impact, you've got to make money to put that back into get a more awareness in the marketplace. So really, we've got to change this mindset of like, yes, you do have 5 minutes in the morning to check your marketing. And especially that's what people are needing now, because there is a lot of, whenever fear comes out, what's going to happen here in marketing world, and what you'll see and what anybody's going to see out there, they're going to see a lot of things happening and saying, we can guarantee you, we can help you, and they're going to be using a lot of fear tactics. But the things that happened, longevity in this industry, it is the consistent game, and it's how to be consistent, because I think everybody's going to be telling you kind of a similar process around that. You have to be very on marketing, on your business, on sales, on retention daily.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I do think so. And, like I remember going to a conference or just a little breakfast with Philip Mills back in the day, like the Philip Mills, it was 20 years ago. And he said on the 1st of January, always put your prices up $1. And since that day, I've always done it. Even like we did it, I think it was July, I put our prices up, not for the existing customers. I just did it for the new customers. And we put our prices up maybe $2 a week in some respects. So, it's a tough time. We didn't have a lot of leads coming in July. It was winter in Sydney. It was full of COVID. Like, it was just such a terrible time. Victoria was the same. And you know what? It's just like, well, you know what? If we're not going to get more volume in, we need to get more money in. So let's just increase the spend. And so we still have less members in my small studio now than what we did. And when I say small, it's still 300 square meters with 600-700 members. So it's still a bigger size studio than average. But we put the prices up, and our average spend has got up per customer to what it was pre-COVID. I'm not saying it's all rosy and everything like that, and we're cashing in lots of green notes. But what I'm saying is that there's other ways to do it. And this is really interesting, right? So I was talking about all the hard months. So I reckon between April and, let's call it September, October. So between April and September were the hardest months I've ever seen in the fitness industry. And I'm going to say south of Queensland, not saying it's easy in Queensland, just a different entity than previous, right? So I just say it's been the hardest I've ever seen it in 30 years. All my colleagues and fitness industry people in Victoria say the same thing. Sydney, the same thing. Regional New South Wales, not so bad. But what we did then is we went, right, okay, well, let's increase the spend. And then last month, I put the joining fee back on, right? We took over $4,500 in joining fees last month, and my team have cashed in massive commissions. And that's just insane that we put on the joining fee, and we're taking $159 joining fees from point of sale, and we sold about 10 or 20 more memberships in the month than we did the month before, with a higher direct debit and a higher joining fee. I don't know what part of maybe the team, when the joining fee is cheap and the memberships are cheap, maybe they're just selling on price. Where when we had a higher joining fee and then a higher yield per week, the team have to put in the effort and do a thorough needs analysis and not get sloppy by just saying, oh, well, you get a discount, which doesn't make anybody buy. Like, if Porsche put on a discount tomorrow, I still wouldn't buy Porsche. I'm not in the market. The discount doesn't sell the membership. It's the engagement of the needs analysis and then providing a solution. The discount or the offerings only make the deal sweeter. And that's when you go, right, well, hang on. If you get started today opposed to in 2 days' time, then the deal would be sweeter. I'll give you the classic example. I've got an overnight stay bag, right? And it's falling apart. And I mean, like, it literally can't carry stuff in it, not just like I'm unhappy with it, right? And I've been using it till its death because a friend of mine gave it to me. I packed it last night. As you know, I was going to stay overnight somewhere. And I just went, I need a bag. And my mother-in-law's looking for a Christmas present for me. So I went into the shop today and I said, this is a perfect bag. I'm going to get my mother-in-law to come down and get it. And I took a photo. So needs analysis tick, need for the product extremely high. She said to me, well, you could always get it now and we could leave it behind the counter. And I thought, well, she only lives in the next suburb. I'll just send her down.
Yep.
Had she given me 20% off or a deal or something else, I would have bought it and said, I've bought it, you can transfer the money back. Or I would have said, yes, hold it. There was no urgency to create the deal today. And that's all offers do, is speed it up, you know?
Yeah, good insights there. It's selling the right way instead of just discounting. But let's say we are like, okay, this is now coming up to December, January. What you'll see a lot in the gyms, don't pay anything till January. Don't pay anything till February. All that kind of stuff's going on now. It's all happening now. And then I like how you're talking about need analysis. There's a lot of ways to get around this conversation once you're selling to the needs analysis. What are your thoughts on this time of year? I know I'm throwing a hard question to you. This time of year, it's the don't pay anything until January offer. What are your thoughts on that?
That campaign doesn't work. Every single business I've run it in, if it works for you, do it. The saying I have is, if anything's working, keep it running. But if it's broken, fix it. So I haven't seen that be effective anywhere. What I do is I say, pay $99 or join, 1 month for $99. And so for the $99, that's their joining fee. They get the whole of December free. So it's flipped. And then, so it's like, pay 1 month for $99, which would normally be $300, but they've got to join a direct debit when they come in. See how it's all flipped and incentivized? So that'll also be our Facebook campaign and it's geared up Christmassy. So people think they can give themselves a gift or whatever. So they come in. The key is this. Most of us do pay now and get nothing till the end of the year, and how it was invented to prevent people from going on suspension. So I think we've lost the way of why it was invented. So because a lot of people don't want to join because they don't want to join and then put their membership on suspension, because in the consumer's mind, they don't know there's suspension. They think, why join? I'm going on holidays for 2 weeks. So it's to entice people to do that. But I think the wording's not hitting it. So for me, it's 1 month for $99. They come in, they pay their $99. I do give them the rest of December free, but that's to avoid them going on suspension. So most of the time they're like, oh, well, if I join now, then I'm going on hold. We're like, well, you're not paying anything anyway, so you don't need to go on hold. So it's a little bit of communication like that. But again, join now and pay nothing till the end of the year. Well, you've got to identify a problem. It'd probably be like, join now and your holiday time's covered, or get fit for Christmas and your holiday time's included, or something like that. Make it relative, because to them, there's too much jargon in it for us, and we've disconnected the suspension and the holidays. Or we could even say, join and we've got your holiday program covered. Now with online, it's join now, you've got an online program. Or if you're a personal trainer, join now, we'll give you a 2-week beach program to do in your holiday house. Whatever it is, just needs to be more practical. Yeah,
and I think this time of the year too, it's a great advantage to keep pushing, keep advertising, because there's a lot of people that do stop in this time of the year. And what you'll see on Facebook, everybody, is that it's that competition, and people will definitely turn off for 2 months. They turn off the advertising campaign, they turn off their money, they'll start later. But this is a great time now, because there's a lot of gaps in the marketplace and people are always searching. There's always people in different places searching for. So it's a good time to actually turn things on and even ramp things up.
Yeah, totally. Most people will have time off between Christmas and New Year's and probably won't be away. So I mean, that's one of my biggest weeks of selling in the year, is between Christmas and New Year's. And you can close out the year then, and you can just do like a no joining fee special for 48 hours, New Year's Eve special, Boxing Day sale, whatever you want to call it. And we've had great success in many female only clubs and PT studios with its like Boxing Day sale. Do whatever you want to do, ends on the 12 o'clock on the 31st. And, I remember on the 31st, I think I sold 11 memberships in a day. Even when I had at InShape, I think I sold 30 memberships between 8 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock. And I was pregnant. I was just like, oh my God, I'm running off my feet here by myself. So what the team had done is they'd worked really hard, and then we closed out that. And I didn't make one phone call. The team had closed that out the week before, and then they all took off on holidays. And those people weren't even booked appointments. They were just from the closeout calls. So the best thing about closing out in December is you'll make your sales in January better. Like, don't stop calling. It's so hard. People have got all the excuses in the world. Nowadays with technology, like, do a Zoom face-to-face tour of the studio if they don't have time to come in. Well, would you like me to book you a Zoom? We'll have a quick talk like this for 5 minutes, and then you could even lead them to joining online. You could even take their credit card over the phone and sign them up. There's many ways around that now, and it's very acceptable to the consumer to do things like that. So there's no excuses anymore. But if you keep, I've always said this, if you keep busting your ass all the way through December, you'll make January lucrative. You know, January, and none of this, January takes half the month to get going. January by far has been my biggest month ever, every year. It's because December sets it up.
Love it. Some really good insights there. And I think it's because you're coming from your car. Whenever I speak to you, there's something in the car where you just think and there's less distractions. Is that how it works?
I think so. It's just, stay here in the gate. It's like blinkers.
Yeah, totally. Well,
I guess a bit more relaxed in the car opposed to your home office, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think this is what we're talking about, like, you know, longevity in the industry. It is about understanding the market. But before we wrap up, I do want to highlight a few things here where when you are in this zone at the moment, you maybe have a team, you may don't have a team, but whatever you have, the one thing to stay longevity in this industry is to I always say, give yourself some creative space, connect with people in this time, see what everyone else is doing. It doesn't have to cost you anything. It's just a conversation. You know what I mean? And it keeps the mind active and progressing in a way that it needs to progress. Because I think when you're in that zone, and Amanda, you're in that zone, and when people are struggling to get into that flow of business, that flow of marketing, that's what I always find to get me in that flow. You've got to find people that's in the flow already, so you can join. It's like a wave, you know. You got to get in the wave.
Yeah, totally.
You might crash, you might burn, but eventually you've got to ride some wave, even if it's a short wave, a long wave. But you got to ride it. You will either ride the wave out, it will crash early. But the good thing about marketing today, not like back in the day, you actually can change things at a heartbeat versus you know, waiting for some print stuff to come out again every 12 months.
Like I did a litter box drop last month, and it was our biggest success of the year. So that combined with socials, you know, it just blew out of the water. So, you know, so another thing about longevity is you don't have to reinvent everything. So just on that point, if you get your December campaign to a sweet spot where you're happy, we all lose members in December because everything slows down. The cancellations drop a little bit as well. And then January is where you really fuel it back up and pick up the last 2 months of what you might have lost. But if you're not focusing on January now, there's going to be problems where you're down 3 months, and then you can't rely on February, March, and April to pick you back up. And so what you've got to do is, if December is good, then you slot it into your Excel spreadsheet. This is what we did in December, and then January, and then February and March. And every year, once you get into a cycle, all you do is just repeat the same stuff you do every year. We just pull our posters out from the month before. So last month, no wonder the campaign ran well. We ran the same campaign every single October for the last 7 or 8 years, every single October. So we come out, we know what we're doing, I know what we're doing, and we just hit it, you know, and then it's just done. And we pull the posters out, they don't cost anything. We did a letterbox drop. It was exactly the same print that we printed before. So the consumers can see it. Maybe it's reminds them, or maybe they do have recollection of it. I don't think they do. We usually use the same print every single January. I know that sounds weird, and I just changed the offer, but I just want them to start identifying with the materials. But just, you don't have to sit here and go, oh my gosh, it's so tedious. Put something, just look at the last 12 months, what worked, put it in a calendar. Next year, you only need to do a third creative, and then the year after, you probably just need to start just excelling in it. And that's how you become a master in marketing, is just redoing the things that worked and tweaking the ones that didn't. And so I don't ever have to plan a 12-month marketing calendar. I just go back through what we did last year and say, was I happy with it? If I do, then we rerun it, you know?
Yeah,
that's
love it.
The longevity.
That is the longevity, is to remember what you did last year. And actually, it's almost like posting stuff on Facebook or images. You can use things twice. You can repost quotes. You can repost content. Nobody really, very few people would remember I don't think anybody would remember what you did last year. That's for sure. These are really good insights. Thanks, Amanda.
Love being here.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you at our immersive in a couple of weeks. I hope this, guys, has helped. It's a bit of a quick in the car. What's working, and most importantly, how do you stay longevity in the industry? Listen to some action points for this conversation. One, pull out what worked, what you've been working on last year, so don't have to invent the wheel right now. The second point here was around ensuring that you're not switching off in December. So you have a great January and February, set up success. You can't just turn on and expect things to work well in January and February. So push it all the way through. And most importantly, like I think we'll always say here, discounts doesn't sell the membership. It's around ensuring that you're selling it for the right reasons for that prospect. Understand what their needs are, do a needs analysis to actually get them moving. So there's 3 quick points I think anybody can break open their wine, as Amanda says, on a Friday, and you can stay in the creative zone and get it done and don't have to overthink it, and go into the weekend knowing that you've done the best and you've closed out a good week of business. Thanks, Amanda.
No worries. Good luck, everybody.
Awesome, guys. If you like this episode, you can see more of this. Jump into our website, commarketing.com.au. You can sign up for some short courses. We've got one coming up at the moment. It's called the Fast Lead Program. Just for $27, you can get 9 of the best organic marketing strategies to help you grow your business in 2023. I'll catch you guys next time in the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. Bye for now.